They are doing their master plan. Once it is ready, they will tell us the cost.
Warns leaders against imposing themselves on people. Inconsistent unit costs in government procurement.
We have completed a study on standard.
Barak says that story about Jono will be coming a little later. But for now, the church has urged Ugandans to emulate the life and legacy of the late Janan Luwum as his 49th commemoration was held in Kitgum under the theme Anchored in Christ for Peace. The guest preacher, Right Reverend Dr. Ashley Nall of the Anglican Diocese of North Africa, said Uganda must pursue reconciliation and unity. The theme, Anchored in Christ for Peace. The guest preacher, Right Reverend Dr. Ashley Nall of the Anglican Diocese, reconciliation and unity.
majority of Ugandans at a time when fear had gripped the country.
He had to take the brave, and he had to brave the way to go and talk to Idi Amin, who was the president then, by saying, yes, I can see your leadership is yes here, but there is a lot of brutality about it. What are we going to do? So he was speaking on behalf of his people.
Church leaders also remember him as a forward-thinking administrator who understood that spiritual leadership must be matched with institutional strength. They point to his vision for economic empowerment within the church, encouraging Christians to work hard, build sustainable structures, and ensure the church could stand on its own financially.
The economic empowerment of the Archbishop of Janani Luhum brought up this building, which is given after his name, the Janani Luhum Church House.
In 2015, the government declared February 16th a public holiday in his honor, transforming what had largely been a church commemoration into a national day of reflection.
In the Church of Uganda, to reflect on it.
Government spokesperson Chris Baryomunsi says the decision was deliberate. He adds that this action was not only intended to recognize Archbishop Janan Luhum's contribution to evangelism and moral leadership, but also to ensure that Uganda never forgets a painful chapter in its history.
We renew our commitment that all of us should work for a better Uganda so that such a things do not happen again.
Beyond remembrance, the government says the events surrounding Luhum's death carry important lessons for the country's leadership today. Officials say one key lesson is the need for constructive engagement between political and religious leaders, that disagreements must be resolved through dialogue rather than confrontation.
That if there are any quarrels between political leaders and religious leaders or civic leaders, then those quarrels, those disagreements should always be managed through constructive engagement.
Despite being a public holiday, Janan Luhum Day is still not widely marked across the country. The government acknowledges that public awareness remains limited, partly because it is still among Uganda's newer national holidays and largely because the main celebrations are traditionally held in Kitgum district. Officials say that hosting the national event in his birthplace has over time given the impression that it is a regional observance rather than a truly national commemoration. To change that, the government says discussions are ongoing to rotate national celebrations to other regions, making it clear that Luhum was not only a son of Kitgum but a national and regional leader.
Instead of being in Mutwini, Kitgum all the time, it could rotate and be held in other parts of the country, because he was not an Archbishop of Kitgum, he was an Archbishop of Uganda and even the neighboring country.
The church is also calling on young people to draw inspiration from Archbishop Janan Luhum, reminding them that he too was once a young man who chose conviction over compromise.
It was as the church marked the life of former Archbishop Janan Luhum. Many Ugandans elsewhere showed little understanding of why the day is a public holiday in the first place. Now, interviews with border riders and market traders revealed that while Luhum's name is familiar because there's a street in Kampala to that end, very few know his sacrifice, with the holiday widely viewed as an unexpected day off across the country today in Uganda.
I just wake up from home. I find there no jam, no whatever. Then someone told me, today's a public holiday. Then I asked, which public holiday? Say that we are remembering for Luhum dead.
The fact is, I don't know. I just woke up not knowing anything. I was so surprised that today is public holiday. Since I'm not working in the government, I just have my car business, so I didn't know about that.
I know it's a public holiday, but I'm not sure which one.
I know that it's a public holiday because of schooling. I take children to school, and we are told there is a public holiday. We're not supposed to take children to school.
But the truth is, I don't really understand what it's all about.
Today is Janan Women's Day.
I just hear about him because I've never seen him. Yeah. But what I hear about him, that he was a reverend in those sides of Gulu or Kitgum.
I hear about the story because by that time I think I was still young. According to the story, he was being killed by Idi Amin regime. So I think it's the day for the celebration as a saint. You have to go pray, give him honors and to God especially.
It's one thing having price disparity in shopping. It's another when government has a price disparity in shopping. So when government goes shopping, does it pay the same price as the taxpayer does? A report by the Auditor General suggests otherwise, revealing wide disparities in how public agencies price identical items. In Uganda, one agency buys an executive chair for 850,000 shillings, while another pays 1.6 million for exactly the same item. Critics call it a pricing lottery, costing billions. Adam Mayambala examines how inconsistent unit costs, fuel consumption, and what Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority is doing about this. Let's get into the story.
In the quiet halls of government procurement, numbers usually tell a story of service. But in the 2024-2025 Auditor General's report, the numbers tell a story of chaos. Take a simple executive desk. At Entity B, it costs the taxpayer 4.3 million shillings, but move to Entity D, and the same desk somehow costs 7.5 million. The report reveals a staggering gap. Executive high back chairs range from 400,000 to 1.6 million shillings. Workstations vary from 4 million to 6 million shillings. But it's not just furniture, it's the very ground we drive on. In Chira, a square meter of paved roads cost 299,000 shillings. Yet in Lubaga, the cost of the same square meter explodes to 609,000 shillings. To the average Ugandan, these aren't just statistics. The extra 300,000 shillings spent on 1 square meter of road in Lubaga is money that could have bought life-saving oxytocin in a maternity ward. According to civil society estimates, Uganda loses over 10 trillion shillings annually to corruption and procurement inefficiencies, money that could fund the entire health budget twice. Government, however, again promises to strengthen the fight.
But in this term, as we start the new government, focus will be directed to fighting corruption.
The Auditor General points to a systematic failure: standardization. The report notes that the PPDA hasn't conducted a price survey for common goods. This data vacuum allows accounting officers to inflate prices without fear of a benchmark. Even office construction costs vary widely from 3.7 million to 5.3 million shillings per square meter. The Executive Director of PPDA, Benson Turamye, announced that the agency is conducting a study on standardization and will push standard rates for common goods by the end of this quarter.
We have completed a study on standardized specifications of common use products in government, and that gives us a basis, a variety of specifications. Or the different varying prices of infrastructure government projects like roads and bridges.
The PPDA's plan is ambitious. By moving contracts and bidding to a digital portal, they hope to blind the process to political influence. But the Auditor General is clear: until there is a mandatory standard price list, the entities must either comply with or explain. The taxpayer will continue to overpay.
And if we can ensure that procurement across government is electronic, then that will go a long way in minimizing corruption through procurement.
But as a regulator now, we are going also to use that framework to monitor compliance and enforce compliance.
The problem is no longer just missing money, it is inflated money. By overpaying for every chair, every kilometer of tarmac, the government is effectively sabotaging its own development goals. The pressure is on. Will the new standardization mechanism and the e-procurement system be the shield to the national pass needs, or will the middlemen find a way to hack the system?
It's also possible to get a very different price for the same product depending on your clothes. You know that. Now, voters in Tororo municipality delivered a decisive verdict for change in the 2026 elections, voting out incumbent Mayor Kenneth Orono and MP Apollo Yeriofono. As new leaders prepare to take office, they face pressing challenges: tackling corruption, reviving store development, and restoring public trust. Analysts caution that without a forensic audit to establish the scale of alleged corruption, the new administration risks inheriting entrenched problems that could undermine effective service delivery and long-term reform.
Comprising the eastern and western divisions, Tororo municipality has witnessed a sweeping political overhaul, with voters rejecting both the incumbent mayor and municipality member of parliament Kenneth Orono and Apollo Yeriofono. They have been replaced by Shiam J. Tana as member of parliament elect and Bernard Ocheng as mayor elect. Despite the overwhelming mandate, the incoming leadership is set to begin its term facing major challenges. Chief among them is corruption, which residents believe has stalled development in the border municipality.
Over 2 billion. What the municipal council collects is less than 200 million. This therefore poses the question from 2 billion to less than 200 million. That therefore where brings a gap. Where is that the 1.8 billion.
Corruption concerns were heightened last financial year when several municipal technical heads, including the town clerk, municipal engineer and education officer, were arrested over failure to account for 1 billion shillings in road funds and standard gauge railway compensation meant for Morukatipe View primary school construction. Analysts, however, say these arrests often amount to token accountability.
The other school where it was, they had more classrooms than what we have. The other school had 10 classrooms and they had a staff house, a twin staff house, which were not incorporated in the works which is happening now.
For accountability purpose, in my view, the government of the Republic of Uganda needs to go extra mile as far as fighting corruption is concerned.
As a result of the alleged corruption, the municipality has failed to fix its drainage systems, leaving the town flooded whenever it rains. Several streets also remain unlit, crippling the night economy. Mayor-elect Bernard Ocheng says business will no longer be as usual.
People must be held accountable. People must be held responsible. If they say a person X has eaten this money X, we should be allowed the law really take its course.
Youth unemployment is another pressing concern, with leaders warning that it is fueling crime within the town. MP-elect Shiam J. Tana says job creation will be prioritized.
I've already started engaging the different stakeholders we have within the municipality, the cement factories, the local businesses, and a lot of other neighbors who can offer employment. I also told people that I'm going to set up a free of charge job desk, so we have started getting CVs of people.
Efforts to get comment from the outgoing leaders were futile, as they were not readily available and did not respond to our repeated calls. But while the new leadership remains optimistic about transforming the municipality's image, analysts warn that without a forensic audit to establish the true magnitude of corruption, the leaders risk inheriting entrenched problems that could undermine their delivery.
The name of Jaramartin Mapenduzi is very well known within our local government circles, but more importantly now in the legislative arm of government, and he does come to us this evening to offer insights in this. Price disparity is common in Uganda. You put on rugged clothes, you ask a price, you get another. You put on a suit like yourself, it's another price. The challenge is it's now government paying same item, different price. What can be done to weed out and wipe out this?
Well, well aware that the elections are done, and now we have new sets of leaders coming to office in the next few months. One key step that government needs to take and take seriously is to make sure that the new leaders are fully empowered, and this can be done through the induction. You need to remember that the leaders who got elected in 2021, the local government leaders, majority of them never went through induction, and they're leaving office in the next few months without some of them knowing what they should have done. And so it's very important that the new leaders need to be empowered, their capacity needs to be built, and the Minister of Local Government needs to plan to induct them much earlier. When that is done, then they will know what to do. They will hold the people who are charged with the responsibility of implementing accountable, because the local government leaders have to plan, they have to budget, they have to ensure that activities are well implemented, they have to do monitoring, but they also need to supervise the technocrats. And so when they know what to do, then they will hold those people accountable, and they will know what is not going on well. So it's important that we start by building the capacity of the leaders here.
The PPD is suggesting standardization after the Auditor General's report revealed what it did. In my days on Nasser Road supplying government, one colleague would supply a ream of paper at one price and another at another price, depending on who you knew within the system. Well, standardization can work where it is reams of paper. When it gets to roads, kilometers of roads, how will that work?
Well, I don't think that would solve the problem. That would partly be a solution, because when you are executing a project, there are several technicalities involved. For example, if you are talking about building a road, what if one road is in a swampy area and the other one is on a flat land? So
then we have a standard price for a swampy area.
Well, that's something that the engineers will talk more about, because there are definitely technicalities involved. But there is obviously a lot that we need to do in making sure that we deal with the challenges of procurement in this country. Because it's important to know that a lot of the fraud, a lot of the what I would call corruption, overpricing, and a lot of that is done at a technical level. And so it's important that we need to deal with that. But the other thing is, a lot of time is spent on procurement. Government needs to deal with that as well. And also how local governments do things are timely, when do they plan to start. And so it's important that we need to pay a lot of attention to the aspect of procurement, but also we need to look at how we manage the processes. Yeah.
Every year the Auditor General releases these findings. Apart from being ceremonial, they never translate into real actions and people going home, which should be the case. What can be done to make sure that these reports are actionable, and that when you remember the days of Chair releasing the confidential and town would shake. How do we make sure that these reports, when they are released, you have sleepless nights across the place?
I think the problem is not with the Auditor General. I think the Auditor General is doing a fantastic job, because they have, every financial year, they do their work within the time required and all that. The problem is where we need to, because when the Auditor General does their work, they bring to Parliament. Parliament looks at, we have got different committees that are responsible. They move to the field, report back to Parliament. The problem is where we implement the recommendations and the resolution of Parliament and recommendations of Auditor General. There are people charged with the different responsibilities. So the question is, who does what? Who holds who accountable? When they come up with their report, the report is presented to Parliament. Parliament does its part. Recommendations are given. The executive has to implement. And so there is a problem, and that's where my frustration is. I chaired the Committee on Local Government Public Accounts Committee, and we looked at the reports of the Auditor General, gave recommendations. Parliament adopted the recommendations. The different entities were charged, were expected to implement. Now, when they fail to implement, that is where the frustration comes. So different players have to make sure they perform their part and do it within the time required. Otherwise, it makes no meaning to do the audit when you don't implement the recommendations.
Honorable, where we are now, there are people, sinners, who don't even fear the second coming of Jesus Christ. So it's a very interesting world in which we live. Thank you very much, the Honorable Martin.
I think we need to need to make that a lot more risky so that we hold people more accountable, and that works.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Ojara Martin Mapenduzi. We do have feedback, and so we get to the question. Then I will read some of the comments, and that's coming up in a few. Get into the feedback, shall we? What concrete measures can government implement to curb corruption in procurement processes within public institutions? We don't want malls coming out of government money. Adopt transparent e-procurement systems that publish all bids, awards, and contract changes. They should also empower independent oversight bodies, protect whistleblowers, and enforce strict penalties for violations. Isn't this how apartments will not be built? Okay, they should copy China, put strict laws and implement them even if a relative is involved. Aren't we talking firing squads here? Let's get into your leaders now that the political season is done. Mama Janet and I joined Christians in Wigweng with Trini Kitgum to mark 49 years since martyrdom of Janan Luwum. Idi Amin's mistake was ruling by force and killings. Leadership must be through persuasion and good works, not intimidation. The NRM has always believed in persuasion through action. Even when support in northern Uganda was low, we extended electricity, built and upgraded health centers and improved the road network. In the end, our people said NRM Mabe Apoyo for the overwhelming support in the just concluded election. We shall build a befitting memorial for Janan Luwum and decisively address cat wrestling in East Acholi. Apoyo Northern Uganda. Apoyo, Your Excellency. Okay, Chavazinga of Busoga. We remember Archbishop Janan Luwum, a figure of unwavering dedication to faith, truth, and justice, even when in the face of ultimate sacrifice. With resolute conviction, he spoke out against injustice and remained faithful to God until the last. His life illustrates that true courage lies not in absence of fear, but in the resolve to uphold what is right. May his legacy inspire generations to stand firm in their conviction. The Chamazinga of Busoga, Dr. Nadiope IV.
More to come.
Well, it's a bit of low energy. One of us, a very, very good human being, has gone into the ground. We will show you what happened as we sent one of our very own back to the ground from which he came. Lest we forget the sacrifice and the stories that were told by the now late Julius Chitone. That's me getting very emotional here.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
There's a new way to keep your breath fresh all day. Introducing Move It All Day toothpaste, made to give you powerful night gum defense and tooth whitening. The charcoal flavor gives you deep cleansing, powerful stain removal, and the herbal delivers natural strength for healthy, confident smiles. Choose Move It All Day toothpaste and enjoy freshness all day.
You got Glovo. You got Glovo.
You can order what you want. You can get what you need.
You got Glovo.
You got it all. Order Glovo and receive it in minutes.
I want to be an engineer. I want to be a chef. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a musician. I want to be a basketballer.
Twinbrook International School is a school where you will see people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
At the heart of Uganda's modern furniture industry stands Hwansung. Experience the white and black metal high glossy kitchen, a reflection of modern elegance built to last. Every detail is designed for convenience, from smooth sliding drawers to integrated dustbin accessories that keep your space spotless. Our flash doors bring nature's warmth into your home, handcrafted to perfection, with a finish that speaks of heritage and strength. Our TV stands and lobby lounge partitions bring beauty into every home. Hwansung makes a difference.
Maria, I'm going to make the mandazi you like today. This is my wife Maria's recipe.
Maria! Maria, we've got the loan! We've got the loan!
But tell me, what's the secret to your success?
Maria is my inspiration. Everything that I do is to make Maria proud.
Take a look around and you'll see everything can be reimagined. Everything rough can be smooth. Everything old can be fresh. Everything can be made vibrant and full of attitude. The world is what you make it. So why not make it yours? Guinness Smooth. Make it yours.
Mwaka mulamba bulire sanyu linjo kubanga nawangudde school fees w'omwanange era nina essanyu okubanga sigenda sasula school fees n'omwaka omulamba era ne bazadde ba MTN Momo Katonda abongere omukisa.
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you'll stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year. The school, you will stand a chance to win a school van. You can also get a school fees loan on Momo. The short code is *165 *80# and you pay school fees and you win school fees for a year.
Mourners gathered at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Emmanuel Ndaula in Chiterede Village, Magabi Parish, and Tatamuki Town Council, Rakai District, to pay their last respects to fallen Next Media journalist Julius Chitone. Speakers remembered Chitone as a disciplined, hard-working, and deeply committed human being to his profession.
Visible grief, silence, and deep reflection among mourners as Chitone's body was laid to rest at his ancestral grounds in Chiterede village. The burial ceremony began with a requiem mass led by Father Stephen Kijambu of Chiziba Parish. Next Media, led by Sembatia Ismail, praised Kitone's character, professionalism and experience, urging journalists to emulate his life and work ethic. Mitiana woman member of parliament Joyce Bagalan Twatwa, who once worked with Chitone, spoke about his contribution to the media industry.
We shall miss Julius so much because he has been a hero. He has been so cooperative, he has been compassionate and kind.
Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson Luke Owoyesijire commended Chitone's professionalism in the execution of his duties. Owoyesijire also condemned the theft of road signs and urged motorists to exercise caution while driving. Kitone was laid to rest at 4 p.m. He leaves behind young children. Born in 1991, Kitone was 35 years old at the time of his death.
Reckless driving and poor judgment is that expensive. It has robbed us of an incredible talent. Tukama District spent over 80 billion shillings last financial year and is implementing a 76 billion shilling budget this year. Key projects began early, with staff recruited and improvements made to school infrastructure, sanitation and health facilities. Next year, the district will focus on health education, agro-tourism and boosting household incomes through coffee and fish farming to enhance livelihoods. In this report, we look at the accountability for this funding.
From over 80 billion shillings last year to 76 billion this year, Ntungamo District's slight budget reduction is due to irrigation projects not being implemented this year. District technocrats say the change did not affect implementation, with procurement done early and some projects completed before the halfway mark of the financial year. Officials fast-tracked procurement, completing 6 of 10 planned roads, improving school sanitation with 5 stands VIP pit latrines, expanding water access and rehabilitating boreholes and springs.
By December, we had completed some schools and we managed to pay some contractors, especially under Works and the Education Department.
Meanwhile, of the 76 billion budget, 47 billion goes to salaries for 3,700 staff, with key administrative positions now filled. Health upgrades and developments have been done, for example, at Rubadi Health Center 4. Through the parish development model, the district has received over 46 billion shillings. However, some cases of extortion have been reported and are being handled.
Those ones we have dealt with them and we are still dealing with them. Whatever cases we get, we take action. We either recover the money, and so far we have some culprits that were taken to court and they are now in prison.
District political leadership says the last 5 years focused on stabilizing administration, removing ghost workers and the 13 ghost health facilities, restoring wetlands and improving staffing levels.
We found the ghost workers. The ghost workers are no more. And now the payroll, we clean the payroll of Ntungamo district. For the last 4.5 years, we have upgraded 13 health center 2s, health center 3s.
Leaders also cite investment projects, including coffee processing in mineral industries, expected to improve household incomes and employment.
Job creation, the factories we are going to have at least each factory is going to be recruiting more than 1,000 workers. So that will be the job creation and then changing the lives of the people.
Next term will prioritize health, education and household income through coffee growing, fish farming and agritourism.
When you look at the assessment list, Ntungamo district is now in the 20s. So therefore, if we come from 100, now we are at 20. I am very sure our aim as a district is to be the first in performance in the whole country.
But residents acknowledge that infrastructure shortages still persist. Political analysts say voter engagement has been limited and delivery has not fully matched campaign promises.
Them have depended much on NRM manifesto, which of course automatically sometimes it is hard to deliver. So I think, to me, they have not delivered to the expectations of the people.
The past 5 years in Arua City have been widely seen as a period of economic growth driven by increased local revenue collection with over 8 billion shillings expected by year end. However, incoming Mayor Lawrence Alionzi Dangote challenges this view, citing uncollected garbage, poor enforcement of trade orders and inconsistent main market management, all linked to corruption in city offices and recruitment, which he says have prevented the city from reaching its full economic potential.
Upon entry into the border city of Arua, West Nile's metropolitan hub is a sparkling lush of green with a beaming business that has steadily grown in the last 5 years. By the end of 2025-2026 financial year, Arua City expects to leap and collect in excess of 8 billion shillings from local revenue.
As a result of us having organized the team, both political and technical, we were in a position to have a very great improvement in local revenue.
From its local revenue collections, the city purchased a Caterpillar motor grader at 1.2 billion shillings for the upgrade of infrastructure and opening of community roads.
The 5 kilometers that we worked in terms of open road network within the CBD, to me, was a very great achievement.
Muzaid Kemis is the outgoing mayor of the Central Division after he was elected as the new member of parliament, and he attributes the growth in the last 5 years to the use of the integrated revenue administration system, commonly known as IRAS. However, the incoming city mayor Lawrence Alionzi Dangote insists that the city is punching below its capacity due to corruption.
The mere fact that they had a surplus revenue collection speaks to the fact that there are many more leakages to close. So in terms of revenue collection, Arua City, even at its current state, still continues to punch below its economic weight.
He cites a failure to manage garbage, the failure to implement the trade order, and the inconsistent use of the main market as part of the failures of Arua in the last 5 years.
Like the activity that you see in the background, some believe that the failure by the city authorities to evacuate these people who are conducting business on the walkways is a sign that Arua has experienced a start-stop development in the last 5 years.
On average, the Arua main market generates 90 million shillings every month, despite not being fully utilized. The woman MP Maureen Osoru says more lobbying has to be done as improved revenue collection has not translated into better healthcare services for the residents.
Of course, Arua does not have a city hospital. We do not have, which the government should also look into to decongest Arua's referral hospital.
The failure to reach its potential could also explain why the city has had a major overhaul in its leadership, as Jackson Atimali Buti, Geoffrey Feta and John Lematia have all been dropped as members of parliament, while Central Division Town Clerk Malik Drakuma has been transferred to Badege Laibi Division in Gulu City.
When we come to the political wing of this city, 60% they have failed the city.
As a local businessman, Mungu Feni Bernard is calling for the new leaders to unite, create a conducive business environment, and brand the city for the national and international investors.
So I think it's about mindset change, and the focus for West Nile right now is just to brand what they have.
Arua City has a daytime population of around 450,000 people. Mungu Feni, who deals in the mineral sector, is hopeful that the next 5 years will also see improvement in the hospitality industry that has the potential to attract high-caliber tourists. The incoming city mayor, Lawrence Alionsi Dangote, has pledged to fight corruption in all sectors, ease transaction across the borders with the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, the neighboring Central African Republic, and Nigeria.
The local administration must reach out across the border in DRC and South Sudan.
Lawrence Alionsi Dangote will take over from Sam Wadri Nyakwa as the city mayor for the next 5 years.
Hopefully it's called Dangote for a very good reason. Barely a decade after multi-billion shilling roads, drainage channels and street lights were completed under the Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development USMID in Lira City, signs of strain are emerging. Key roads feature darkened street lights while drainage channels have broken or clogged with garbage. The deterioration has sparked a debate among leaders and residents about maintenance, sustainability, and whether the World Bank funded projects provide lasting value for taxpayers, reports Isaac Otwi.
Barely 10 years ago, these roads, walkways, drainage channels and streetlights symbolized a new chapter for Lira City. Funded under the Uganda Support for Municipal Infrastructure Development, USMID, the projects were designed to modernize urban mobility, improve drainage and beautify public spaces. But today, the picture is changing.
You can see in my background photos along Obote Avenue joining Sorote Road. You can see the damaged drainage channel, which the money was pumped into.
Several streets, including Obote Avenue and Olwol Road, are now partially unlit, while at most spots, drainage channels and walkways lie cracked or clogged with waste. Patrick Ogwang, former president of the Lira City Development Forum, blames weak maintenance systems, arguing that key road assets, including drainage, lighting, signage and walkways, are deteriorating faster than expected.
A lot of things have been damaged because the city authorities have not factored in what we call operation and maintenance. The money set aside to refurbish, rehabilitate the road infrastructures and other infrastructures constructed using the World Bank loan.
The current situation is it's alarming, simply because there's no measures in place to maintain this infrastructure.
Ogwang says less than 50% of the streetlights installed under USMID in Lira City remain functional, while several roads constructed 5 to 10 years ago are already showing signs of distress. At Lira Coronation Park, facilities remain unused years after the completion of beautification.
They're lacking in their system. They are supposed to have what we call a dashboard for easy maintenance of these roads. So use and maintenance or operation and maintenance is not being followed.
I don't see value for money, because when you look at 35 billion shillings, that is a lot of money. By now, Lira City would be shining.
But Lira City authorities defend the program. Robert Okello Ayo, Lira City's communications officer, says maintenance is ongoing under the annual operations and maintenance budget.
Every financial year we have in our budget what they call OMM for these projects, that is operation and maintenance. For instance, in the past financial year we were able to repair the street lights.
Even so, the visible deterioration is fueling a wider accountability debate. As Lira City prepares for additional use-made financing, leaders warn that sustainability, not project completion, will determine whether taxpayers truly benefit.
But I have seen this in the Lira Main City Council budget, which was brought in the council, and later on when they put it in the budget, the money wasn't utilized. It was mismanaged.
The major challenge we have, the city came, and most part of the city is still rural in nature. So we are trying to sensitize our people so that they handle these facilities well.
Lira City has so far spent over 80 billion Ugandan shillings under the USMID supported projects, with city authorities expecting similar funding in the upcoming additional phase. However, leaders warn that without stronger operational maintenance systems, the city risks losing infrastructure financed through borrowed funds.
In today's world, opportunity is digital. Is your education keeping pace? At Cavendish University, Uganda, we don't just use technology, we're built around it. Our state-of-the-art digital portal and our world-class public health laboratories are your launch pad. Because here, we focus on one outcome, your success. We equip you with in-demand digital skills, critical thinking, and real-world experience. We don't just award degrees, we prepare you for gainful employment and entrepreneurship globally. Enroll with Cavendish University Uganda this semester. Registration is ongoing. Cavendish University Uganda. Your success begins here.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingle, Shake and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested and trusted.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and multi-flavor, so rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Today, we choose our future. We choose peace. Let's protect our home from violence. Differing choices are part of democracy. Every voice matters. Every vote is for our shared country. Trust in the process and the electoral bodies. Let's vote with our hearts and minds, without provocation and intimidation. This is home. Let's keep it safe. Let's talk peace.
Still shining a light on accountability around the country. Major achievements of the current leadership at Jinja City include purchasing a multi-million shilling road unit, expanding a local revenue base and tackling land grabbing. As their term ends in May, we turn our attention to Mayor Peter Kasolo, Jinja City, assessing his administration's performance and legacy.
Given our special futures, the tourism, the industrialization.
In 2021, Peter Kasolo Kocha became the inaugural mayor of Jinja City following its elevation from municipality to city status in 2020. There was widespread optimism that the new status, coupled with a fresh leadership, would revitalize the once thriving industrial hub and significantly improve service delivery in Busoga's leading city 5 years down the road. The optimism has largely faded as the city grapples with poor road infrastructure network amidst financial constraints. City authorities say that before attaining city status, Jinja municipality operated on a budget of about 50 billion shillings. Despite the expansion of the city's geographical coverage following the annexation of the surrounding areas such as Mafubira, Budondo and Bugembe, government funding reportedly increased by less than 10 billion.
We were operating a budget of about 52 billion. Now, when we became a city, we began to operate with a budget of about 57 billion.
Jinja City Mayor Peter Kasolo says despite the financial constraints, a number of achievements have been made during his tenure at the helm of the City Hall. With the annexation of Bugembe, Mafubira and Budondo to the city, he says there was an urgent need for comprehensive physical planning and the extension of essential services, which was his number one priority, and physical plan has already been approved by the National Physical Planning Board.
So we had to draw another physical plan to include those other parts. And as I speak now, we have a physical plan for the entire city, which was also approved by the National Physical Planning Board.
With the city plan already completed, the city leadership has faced an uphill task of extension of services to the newly annexed areas, though hampered by inadequate funding. However, the government policy of centralizing revenue collection, where all resources are plowed back to the national treasury, has greatly weakened the financial capacity of newly created cities.
When we collect this money and it goes to Kampala, sometimes there are delays in releases, and we find issues on the ground when we are giving people.
It's difficult to collect 500, 1,000 shillings, but we are even looking for better ways to turn that money into 20 billion in the next financial year.
Despite the funding challenges, Jinja City authorities say efforts to widen the local revenue base have yielded some results. Recently, the city collects between 10 to 11 billion shillings in local revenue annually, up from 1.5 billion shillings previously.
The money that is given to us for serious projects, like capital projects, is very minimum.
Poor road infrastructure has emerged as one of the most visible challenges, especially within the central business district. Although Jinja is considered a well-planned city with dual carriage roads in the central business district, years of wear and tear have left many roads in a deplorable state. Kasolo says to mitigate this, he purchased a new road unit which the engineering department is using to punch some potholes as well as work on the feeder roads in the newly annexed areas.
We lose money because when you bring in a contractor, you are hiring somebody. But when you have your money and your equipment, the department here can supervise that work and can have their people perform these functions.
Nevertheless, city leaders acknowledge that some progress has been made, particularly in the beautification of the city and the rehabilitation of selected roads under the World Bank-funded Uganda support to municipal infrastructure development, USMID projects, and the installation of streetlights to different streets.
On a more than unfortunate note, residents and traders in a mini triangle zone of Makerere Kavule are counting losses, massive losses that is, after a devastating fire destroyed a property worth millions of shillings. The blaze broke out at around 11 a.m., catching many off guard and with no immediate firefighting response. Locals formed human chain using buckets of water, but the flames spread rapidly, consuming stores and merchandise. Security personnel later restricted access to the burning structures for safety. Firefighters eventually arrived, but struggled to navigate narrow congested pathways, limiting their effectiveness. Several traders blamed the fire on illegal electricity connections. Police Fire Brigade Supervisor Geoffrey Okobo warned that blocked access routes and poor adherence to building guidelines hamper emergency response and heighten losses.
As of now, I don't want to speculate that this is the cause of the fire. But obviously here, based on what was taking place, there can be like 3 factors or 3 causes of fire that you can look at. And upon investigation, you can rule out other, then you zero on one cause. Here you have people running electrical cables all over this place. So it is possible that a fire could have arisen from a malfunction of electrical wires or naked wires that sparked and caused the fire. The other thing could be that there is some negligence by the people working here. It's also possible through their negligence, the activities caused the fire here. Then the other thing could be that somebody was also probably cooking from somewhere, and through that, it is possible that the fire can start.
Congestion can be very expensive when fires break out. Now, on a lovely note, it has been for generations that Ajono, the treasured millet-based brew of the Iteso, has been more than alcohol. It has been a symbol of unity and coming together, storytelling, peacemaking, and celebration. But now, in a surprising culture shift, a new trend is emerging in Soroti City and parts of Teso. People are no longer rushing to bars or gathering around the traditional Ajono pot. Instead, they are walking up to a machine just like an ATM and buying Ajono using coins or Bombal money. If you take away those long straws, is it still Ajono?
Now walk into a modern outlet, select how many liters they want, pay instantly using coins or Momo Pay, and collect Ajono in a bottle or jerrycan and then walk away. It is changing the entire culture of consumption. Some residents say the machine has introduced a new lifestyle.
Once you come, you just mention the liter you want and it's even cheaper and save. So unlike the other one, when you're sucking it, sometimes you end up sharing. But this one, just individually, you can pick and go and take it.
Ajono is no longer only for the traditional evening gathering. It is now becoming a product that can be carried to an office, taken while watching football, or even consumed privately at home. One of the brains behind the innovation is Dr. Emerit Bosco, a university lecturer and researcher who says the technology is not meant to destroy culture, but to modernize and protect it.
The template of the 19th century is not necessarily going to be the one who are going to succeed in the 21st century. This time we need to innovate, and this innovation should be backed by technology.
According to Dr. Emerit, Teso must abandon the old mindset of remaining stuck in primary production. He explains that while Teso has always been known for millet sorghum, using ICT logic control systems, enabling it to dispense Ajono in measured quantities. Just like a bank ATM, a customer selects the amount of Ajono needed, inserts coins or pays via mobile money. The system then translates payment into liters and Ajono is dispensed instantly. He says the system also allows remote monitoring. The goal, he says, is not only convenience, but standardization, hygiene, and quality consistency.
What this technology is tending to advance, to bring it back from the The backyard, the prejudices we have that it's in the backyard, now to the fore. We want to take it to the supermarket and to export it eventually.
At Nokti, one of the key outlets hosting a John ATM, manager Norbert Alupo says the community response has been overwhelming. She explains that customers can either buy packaging jerrycans or drink from bottles and tumblers at the outlet.
People come every day, new customers who take packaging, because these jerrycans are for packaging. Those ones who come and they want to take from home, they come and they come and we sell them this jerrycan. The customers who want to drink from here, we provide these bottles, the tumblers.
Culture leaders say diseases like hepatitis B and COVID-19 changed community behavior, making people fear group drinking and shared utensils. The Iteso Culture Union Minister for Information, Stephen Ojakol, says a John ATM should be understood within cultural identity, not just modern business.
Ajon was a tool, and it is still a tool in Iteso, that the elders in the community use for creating peace. Teach people to be united. And when you are united, you easily share ideas, you easily share problems. You easily generate solutions together.
The big question is technology replacing the beer pot?
So can somebody tell me who called Ajono Marua? But they still want their... Now, security personnel have blocked a delegation of leaders and lawyers from the National Unity Platform, NUP, from accessing the home of party president Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in Magere. The delegation led by John Baptist Nambeshe, the NUP deputy president for Eastern Uganda, had gone to check on the condition of the gatekeeper Kyagulanyi's residence, who they claim was beaten on the day Kyagulanyi's wife was reportedly attacked.
NUP lawyers led by Nambeshe set off for Kyagulanyi's home in Magere to follow up on the alleged assault of the gatekeeper. Shortly after they arrived near the residence, counter-terrorism police officers blocked them. The officers spent some time engaging them in discussions, with journalists restricted. After some time, security dispersed the group from the area, but as they left the scene, there was a scuffle, and after the area member of parliament, Nkunyenji Mwada, confirmed that one of the lawyers, Kakuru Tumusime, had been arrested. Nambeshe explained that after security personnel prevented them from accessing the premises, Kakuru called the Inspector General of Police seeking guidance, but they did not receive any assistance and the situation remained tense. Nambeshe further alleged that the gatekeeper at Kyagulanyi's home is in poor condition and that being denied access to check on him is deeply worrying.
They have chased us away from the premises of the home of the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. And we were not even able to access even a member of those that are inside there. Good enough, one of us amongst the lawyers was able to access the number of the IGP. When he called him, he received, and it was delivered to me, I myself who is leading this delegation. As I engaged the IGP, eventually the talks were not fruitful.
The lawyers have appealed to the Inspector General of Police to order security personnel to vacate Kyagulanyi's residence and remove restrictions imposed on visitors, noting that a court had previously directed security to withdraw from the premises. Nambeshe, the only deputy of Kyagulanyi not currently in detention, said they had carried court documents ordering security personnel to vacate the home, but events took a different turn.
Flight operations at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi have been severely disrupted after aviation workers staged a strike over delayed salary negotiations, failure to remit union dues, and poor welfare conditions. The industrial action by workers under the Kenya Aviation Workers Union has left many passengers stranded for hours, while others remain on board aircraft waiting for clearance to depart due to air traffic control delays.
The strike, organized by the Kenya Aviation Workers Union, began early Monday morning and has created a major backlog at one of Africa's busiest aviation hubs. The Union Secretary General, Mos Ndiema, says workers were forced to lay down their tools after the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority allegedly failed to address long-standing concerns over workers' pay, union deductions, and overall working conditions. The disruption has affected both domestic and international flights, with several airlines reporting delays in departures and arrivals. Tanzania-based Precision Air is among the carriers impacted, citing air traffic control operational challenges linked to the strike. National carrier Kenya Airways has confirmed experiencing operational delays and apologized to passengers for the inconvenience caused. The airline has warned that flight schedules may continue to change as authorities work to restore normal operations. Authorities say they are engaging all relevant parties in accordance with labor laws to resolve the dispute, which has persisted for years and continues to affect efficiency at the country's main international gateway. In other news, the World Health Organization has criticized a planned hepatitis B vaccine trial involving thousands of newborns in Guinea-Bissau, describing the proposal as unethical. According to WHO officials, they have significant concerns about the study, noting that the birth dose vaccine is an effective and essential public health intervention with a proven record. The study, funded by the United States and led by Danish researchers, was expected to enroll about 14,000 infants in Guinea-Bissau, a West African country with a high prevalence of hepatitis B.
And on the foreign scene, deadly violence and global health concerns dominate today's headlines. Gunmen have killed dozens in northwest Nigeria. A United Nations report details mass atrocities in Sudan. And World Health Organization has condemned a halted newborn vaccine trial in Guinea-Bissau.
Gunmen riding motorcycles have killed at least 29 people in coordinated dawn attacks on 3 villages in Nigeria's northwest Niger state. Officials say the assailants shot residents, burned homes and abducted several people, according to Musa Saidu of the State Emergency Agency speaking to the BBC. The raids targeted Tunga, Makeri, Konkoso and Pisa, near the site of a recent mass killing. Security told AFP the attackers arrived on 41 motorcycles. Authorities have imposed curfews, deployed security forces and warned the death toll may rise. And from Sudan, over 6,000 people were killed within 3 days when Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces seized the city of El Fasher last year. According to victims and witnesses cited in the United Nations report, survivors described mass shootings at civilian shelters during the October assault. The report documents mass killings, summary executions, torture, abductions and sexual violence acts it says may amount to war crimes and possible crimes against humanity. The RSF has not commented on the findings but has denied similar allegations in the past. Sudan has been gripped by nearly 3 years of war between the RSF and the Sudanese armed forces, displacing more than 13 million people. El Fasher in the Darfur region endured an 18-month siege and remains a focal point of alleged atrocities.
This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
The parish development model is designed to eradicate poverty by providing the support necessary for financial independence.
We have seen how 1 million, how much 1 million can do. The whole of Uganda is very rich. So what you call poverty is actually ignorance. We need everybody to come up.
Let us all take advantage of the conducive prevailing atmosphere of political stability, peace and security to ensure that all our people come out of poverty.
And I've told the banks to stop deducting from the 1 million. You must get the 1 million full. The government is the one which will pay the bank charges.
Now the number of stools in this Matoke enterprise are 1,000. They are on 1 acre. And we harvest 17 bunches every day. The money that we get from this Matoke, after selling each bunch at 15,000 shillings, for the whole year, we get 91.9 million shillings. So I want to encourage all the people of Teso also to change the mindset and adopt to new crops which were not traditionally grown here.
We emphasize 2 words, wealth and jobs. This PDM is to get all of you out of poverty.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bolago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Hey travelers, are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom, instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel